The grand assembly hall of Kepler Station stretched impossibly wide, its crystalline walls reflecting the nervous energy of 1,000 different species. Ambassador Zix Thera of the Andromedan Collective adjusted her translation collar and glanced at the delegation from Earth with what could only be described as academic disdain. "Surely this is some kind of joke," she whispered to her colleague, Dr. Vorthak, whose 12 PhDs in theoretical physics, quantum mechanics, and interdimensional mathematics made him the most decorated scholar in 3 galaxies. "They've brought a farmer?" The human delegation consisted of exactly 2 individuals. The first was Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's foremost expert in xenobiology and diplomatic protocol, her credentials impressive even by galactic standards. The second was a weathered man in his 60s wearing simple clothes and a worn baseball cap, introduced simply as Tom Peterson from Nebraska. The challenge of Xentar Prime had been proposed by the Galactic Council as the ultimate test of species worthiness. A dying world with impossible conditions, toxic atmosphere, failing magnetic field, extreme temperature fluctuations, and soil so contaminated that nothing had grown there for millennia. Each species could send their best minds to propose a solution. The winning approach would not only save Xentar Prime, but would determine resource allocation and territorial rights across 17 star systems. The Zephyrians had sent their greatest atmospheric engineers. The crystalline hegemony brought their master terraformers. The Voidborn Collective arrived with reality manipulators who could bend physics itself. Each delegation was a showcase of advanced degrees, theoretical knowledge, and technological supremacy. And then there was Tom Peterson, who spent the pre-challenge briefings asking questions like, "What's the average rainfall?" and "How long are the seasons?" Dr. Vorthak activated his presentation matrix, filling the air with holographic equations that described atmospheric restoration through quantum field manipulation. The mathematics were so advanced that translation protocols struggled to find equivalent concepts in most languages. The Zephyrian solution involved constructing orbital processors that would slowly filter the atmosphere over several centuries. Elegant, sophisticated, and theoretically flawless. The crystalline hegemony proposed reshaping the planet's core, using harmonic resonance, a feat of engineering that would make them legends. One by one, each species presented solutions that were marvels of science and technology, proposals that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. When Earth's turn came, Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Thank you. Before I present our formal proposal, I'd like my colleague Tom to share some observations." The hall fell silent as Tom Peterson walked to the center, his boots echoing in the vast space. He didn't activate any holographic displays or quantum matrices. Instead, he pulled out a worn notebook and a pencil. "Well," Tom began, his voice carrying the slow cadence of the American Midwest, "I've been farming the same land for 40 years. My great-grandfather farmed it before me, and his grandfather before him. We've seen droughts, floods, dust storms, and soil that wouldn't grow weeds." Ambassador Zix Thera exchanged glances with her peers. Where was the science? Where were the complex calculations? Tom continued, "Now, I've been looking at your data on Xentar Prime, and I see a lot of familiar problems. Your soil's got too much salt, not enough organic matter, and the pH is all wrong. Your weather patterns are messed up because you've got no proper ground cover to regulate moisture, and everybody's talking about these big fancy solutions that'll take centuries." He flipped a page in his notebook. "But here's the thing about farming. Sometimes the simplest approach is the best approach. You want to fix that soil? You don't need quantum processors. You need plants. Specifically, you need pioneer species that can handle harsh conditions and improve soil as they grow." Dr. Chen activated a modest holographic display showing Earth's agricultural history. Tom's family has restored degraded farmland multiple times using techniques passed down through generations. We propose using a similar approach on Xentar Prime. Tom nodded. We start with halophytic plants, salt-tolerant species that can actually extract salt from soil. Earth's got plenty of them. Saltgrass, alkali sacchaton, pickleweed. We plant these in areas with the worst contamination. As these plants establish themselves, Dr. Chen added, they'll begin the process of bioaccumulation, literally pulling toxins from the soil, while their root systems prevent erosion and create microclimates. Then, Tom said, warming to his subject, we introduce nitrogen-fixing legumes. These will partner with bacteria to put nutrients back into the soil. After a few growing seasons, we can start introducing other species. Each generation of plants makes conditions better for the next. The assembled scholars looked skeptical. Dr. Vorthak projected complex atmospheric models. This approach would take decades to show meaningful results. Tom chuckled. Son, I've spent my whole life thinking, in decades. The farm my family works today barely grew grass when my great-grandfather started. Now it's some of the most productive land in Nebraska. Good soil isn't built overnight. But what about the atmospheric problems? Demanded the Zephyrian atmospheric engineer. Plants fix that too, Tom replied. They process carbon dioxide, release oxygen, and regulate humidity. Get enough vegetation established, and your atmosphere starts fixing itself. It's what plants have been doing on every habitable world for billions of years. Dr. Chen presented the technical details, specific plant species that could tolerate Xentar Prime's conditions, bioengineered varieties that could accelerate the process, and implementation timelines that would show measurable improvement within 5 years and full restoration within 50. The beauty of the plan wasn't its complexity, but its simplicity. It required no exotic technology, no reality-bending physics, no orbital megastructures. It used principles that had worked on thousands of worlds across the galaxy, refined by generations of farmers who understood that the secret to fixing broken land wasn't forcing change, but guiding natural processes. When the votes were tallied, Earth's proposal won by a landslide, not because it was the most technologically advanced, but because it was the most practical, sustainable, and proven. As the other delegations filed out, many stopped to speak, with Tom Peterson. The greatest minds in the galaxy wanted to understand how a simple farmer had seen solutions that had escaped their notice. Tom just smiled and tipped his cap. Soil's soil, no matter what planet it's on. And if you want to grow something, you've got to understand what the land needs, not just what you want to do to it. Ambassador Zixthara approached Dr. Chen as they prepared to leave. I must admit I underestimated your species. Your farmer possesses a wisdom our scholars lack. Dr. Chen smiled. That's the thing about humans. We've learned that sometimes the most sophisticated answer isn't the best answer. Sometimes you just need someone who understands how things actually work. As Tom Peterson packed away his notebook and pencil, he looked out at the stars through the station's massive viewport. Somewhere out there, Xentar Prime was waiting for its second chance at life, and Tom knew exactly which seeds to plant first.